Assalamu alaikum, good evening, namaste, and well, I'm restricted to only that because anyone who's watching this, you're most welcome to watch, comment, and interact with me on any issues that I can help you on, which is very limited. I'm a journalist by profession. I am a trainer. I comment on gender. Do stories on gender and human rights, environment, and a lot of other things. I've been a journalist for 30 years, so I've had the opportunity to do some work on in print, on a channel as well as digital. I'm also a fact checker. I've trained as a fact checker, and I am linked to different journalists and fact checkers across South Asia and beyond. Um, so that's a small intro about me. I'll be using the space, to talk about different issues and news that may not be taken by the mainstream media because of the lack of space or interest by our channels. I'll be talking about a lot of books, maybe movies, other things. I might be even uploading short videos of things around me. It's just content that I think needs to be talked about. You may agree with me, you may not. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Because as a journalist, that's very important to me, to hear what my people who are listening to me or reading my articles and following anything I do, uh, it's their right to tell me whether they like it or not. And naturally, we can negotiate and talk about things. Today is the 1st of January 2025, and a very, very happy new year to everyone around the world. Hope the situation in Palestine and Gaza improves. Too many deaths and too many horrific tragic incidents and stories coming out of there. Children dying due to the cold, babies freezing to death. This is something that, as a human, hurts me, and as a professional, I feel helpless that we cannot help our people there who need help, and we need to raise the voice. It's not about any following, it's not about any ethnic group, it's not about a religious group. I think this is something about humanity, and we all need to wake up and at least um, try to stop the atrocities there. It is extremely, extremely sad for us, and especially women who are mothers as well. It hurts us to the core to think that we're sitting here and unable to do anything for the thousands of people and children who are being affected over there. I hope 2025 is a year for peace, and we can come out of this year better and safer. Unfortunately, the country I am living in at this moment started off the new year with protest, and police charged protesters who had closed major roads in our city. So that's something that we have faced taking off New Year. Hope things get better. I hope the government would take action without being violent, and try to negotiate and resolve issues through dialogue, which is a democracy, which is a prerequisite of a democracy. Um, I think the government could have handled it better. And we create needless issues by getting emotional. The only thing that I wanted to say in this short introduction is about what happened yesterday in Karachi. The governor of Sindh, he announced that they would be having a fireworks display for 40 minutes, which trying to set a record in the world for New Year. It was an interesting idea, but I just thought it was in bad taste, considering that the city and the civilians were stuck on the roads because of the different blocks around the city, and also the protesters were Some were arrested, some were brought in charge, and at that point, I think the government should have been more conscious and more, understanding the situation and the sentiments of the people. With Palestine and Para Chanar, it's unfortunate that we should be not thinking about them at this time in the new year. Also, there's a lot of money going into fireworks. Um, I love fireworks, but I was thinking that at the cost of 40 minutes of fireworks, that should be transparently told, informed. The public should be informed about the transparency of the expenditure on that. And lastly, I just want to say that every year we see that the cities are closed down, especially Karachi. Um, New Year celebrations are muted. People are not allowed to go to the sea side, and they're not allowed to celebrate in their own way. Um, not everybody celebrates New Year, but those who do should be allowed. It's their right. So it was very, very interesting to see that the government and the governor were celebrating with fire displays, and they were announcing it so a couple of days before the event. But over the years, we've seen people in Karachi, at least, who've been arrested, or they've been not arrested, but they've been like they're not allowed to go to the sea. They're not allowed to do parties. There's been a lot of issues around that. Um, so I know we Karachi people tend to go crazy, and people go into the sea, and people have drowned, and there's been other aerial firing incidents where people have lost their lives and all that. But I think if you stifle people, they're just going to emote more, and they're going to find ways, and they're going to go crazy if they get a little bit of freedom. So let allow people to be happy. I mean, Pakistan has and Karachi has seen a lot of great days. There was a lot of um, freedom at one point in the 60s and 70s was supposed to be a very free time, even in the early 80s. The more you restrict people, the more they'll try to do something. And, if you restrict them, forbidden things are much more interesting for people. So I don't think you should give them a limit. You should tell them that there are certain rules and laws that should not be broken, but allow people to enjoy life, maybe experience things in limits. So, yeah, that would have been a better way to celebrate, or have people enjoying themselves, and not scared to go out at night because of uh, the restrictions that they face. And sometimes you're turned away from restaurants because they're scared to open, provide you services, because there's a certain subtle or maybe invisible crackdown. So, so let people celebrate. Yeah. So, but the thing is that on this first day of this year to 2025, we must remember the people who are suffering all across the world, especially that have made news over the months and years, and in Pakistan over the couple of weeks. Parachanar, it's creating a lot of anger. So that needs to be addressed now, instead of allowing it to fester and then simmer and boil, and people are going to go, it's going to create a lot of divisions between people. It should not be seen as a sectarian issue. It should not be seen as anything else but what it is. It's a human issue. Lives are lost, so it is not restricted to one particular section of society. I think we need to address this, and the government should also take people on board and trust us. We will listen to the government if we have this. If we create a norm of that, we will negotiate and have a dialogue on things instead of just using force. So I think this new year should be about peace, developing ways of communication, improving ways of communication, discussing dialogue, having a dialogue about everything. The government should be more forthcoming and talk to the people. I'm sure that you need to build the lost trust that we have. I mean, there's a particular amount of trust deficit between the citizens and the governments. So let's work on that, and let's move forward as a country. So hope you guys have a brilliant 2025. And next time I come live, I'm sure I'll have something better to talk about. But I just thought that these things that are right in our face somebody should talk about it. So have a good day.